doggone country. Sorry.
Demonetized.
This is Auto Collabs.
That's the least of our concerns, Michael.
Unbelievable.
You know how much
Unbelievable.
that would change my life if we got demonetized? I would at least be excited that someone was paying attention.
Yeah. There you go.
You get that copyright claim on YouTube and you're like, we did something.
Oh, somebody cares.
It's like, what's that movie with Steve Martin where he's like, the new phone book's here. I'm somebody now.
Oh, the
You know, it's
jerk.
like, that's how I feel when I get a copyright claim on YouTube.
Kyle, have you ever seen the movie The Jerk with Steve
No.
Martin? Oh my gosh.
But I
it
feel
is-
like I have because Steve Martin's the same character in every movie, right?
He is, but this
Right?
is
Okay.
like early Steve Martin when he was really all in on this character. And it's like the phone book comes and he's excited. No phone books are here. And he looks at his name and he finds that his name is like in there. He's like, I'm a somebody. And then it's a hard cut to like it's like a rando like shooter who is looking through the book and just picks a name at random, like who he's gonna go try to shoot at, and it's
That
his
is-
name. And then
that's
the movie
amazing.
is off and running. So I don't know. Speaking of being, I don't know where we go from that. Let's go back to the hat. So the hat is the first new look that the More Than Cars ecosystem has had in forever. And it feels a little Nashville. It feels a little Texas. It feels a little human. And you can buy these. We're going to be selling them. We released them at ASOTUCon, and now we're going to be selling them online at shop.asotu.com. You should
There
have
you
one
go.
because this
You should
is
get
this
one.
is cool weekend wear. Like, I don't know if this is showroom wear, but this is weekend wear. It depends on your
definitely
showroom,
is.
I guess.
Yeah, but you
maybe.
know who really helped push some of those is who we're going to be talking to today. Carol Marshall from ActivEngage. They were hanging out at the hospitality.
God,
What do we
it's
call?
such a
What
good
did we
job.
call it?
Area center.
The hospitality
Hub.
sponsor, but they had the shirts on that were like hospitality. How can we help you?
Yes.
And just blended in as
So good.
those willing to serve people.
You know,
Yeah.
we've had her on before, and it's always an engaging conversation. You know, she's somebody that thinks deeply about a lot of different aspects of the industry, and we know, I mean, we love her because she's a good partner, and you know, they just did a bang up job in the hospitality area of ASOTUCon. So why don't we dig in? Why don't we bring her on in, and hope you guys enjoy this conversation with the Carol Marshall.
All right, we're hanging out with Carol. Carol, it is so good to see you again. How's life in the ActivEngage in your world? Let's start with that. Let's get into just how's life.
How's life? Thank you, first of all, for inviting me. It is good to see you both again. Life is good. Life is super busy. We're growing the team, and that's always interesting and fun, and you learn new things and new people, and that's exciting for us. Growing people, growing products. It's growth is good. So
I
Do you
think
find I just got to ask this because I'm curious because we're in the same boat. Growing.
I was
team,
going to
exciting
ask the
things
same
going on.
question, so I'm glad you're
okay.
asking it. Okay,
I'm
good.
like, do you find, you know, oftentimes I feel like in business we're like, you know what, like growing revenue is hard, and then it comes around to hiring, and you're like, I think growing a team is the most difficult thing ever.
yeah.
Tell us your secrets. How do you find the right people?
Our secrets is we listen and we pay attention. And early, like years ago, I read a book, Hiring for Attitude, and it described how Southwest Airlines hires. And it was so insightful, and it involved, hiring for attitude. And it involved asking a series of questions, and you ask it of your entire team. And then you noted, how did your high performers answer versus your lower performers? And now you have an answer key to when you interview people. It also gave tips like if people answer questions with never or always, they tend to be very dramatic people. And so you might want to stay away from that if you don't want to have a lot of workplace drama.
There goes all the Italians.
I never.
So I know, sometimes they got to say
That's
sometimes.
interesting.
Yeah. Huh?
That's interesting though, because those are there's common language, and I just find, you know, everyone's resume is a good lie. You know, it's just like a good lie, like a cover letter, strong interpersonal communication skills. You're like,
Yeah. Right. So now we have a hiring team, and it's departmental. Our HR team has trained all of these folks on how to interview. And we went through this Be Amazing or Go Home workshop based on the book by Shep Hyken, Be Amazing or Go Home. And let me tell you, when you have an amazing team and you're looking to grow, they will smell out the ones that need to go home so quick. Because now they're listening for that extra. They're really tuned in. And so in fact, today I just made the proclamation I'm not hiring anyone anymore because I'm too hopeful in my hires. I'm more, oh, I think this person can get there. And
I can get them over that never hump.
yeah. The team does great though. The team, and I think that's the combination is.
Okay, so we've got a book called Hiring for Attitude. Is it the book Be Amazing or Go Home, or is it
Yes.
a different? It's a different. Yeah, it's that book.
Yes.
We'll put that in the show notes because I think if we all point to, especially Southwest back in the day, right? I think Southwest has waned a little bit. You always got on a Southwest flight and you were like, how did they find these amazing people to fly in?
Right.
Steal cans all day, right? Like
they all had the same kind of attitude. And in that book, it explains that, 99% of the people applying for pilot are ex-military. And so they come in their suits and their ties, and they put them all in a huge conference room and explain, oh, there's been some delays and we just need you to wait. And they would make that conference room really warm. And then after 45 minutes, an hour, they would come in with a box of Bermuda shorts and go, we know you guys must be warm. Feel free to grab a pair of shorts while you're waiting. And the ones who did not take shorts, they never interviewed because
no way.
That did not fit the persona of Southwest of having fun and adapting and going with it. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. They called it the brown shorts test. Yeah.
I just learned something about myself. I'm like, you better not put those shorts on. You are a pilot.
You're right.
Right.
There are souls on board.
Right. But think about, like you said, Kyle, back in the day, when you think about the things that were said on the PA system in Southwest flights.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, whoa. Yeah.
But yeah, you don't just find those. Well, I think you've said it is, you can try. We all know this, right?
Yeah.
It's like you've got a top salesperson, sells 35, 40 cars a month, but is just a cancer to the entire organization.
Yeah.
And like, that's an example of not hiring for attitude because you potentially hired for skill or all of a sudden they like grew into that skill and became a cancer because of attitude. But like you hire for attitude. My good friend who I think you guys know, Patrick Abad, he always says like, we hire happy people because happy people make happy people. Right.
Smart. Right.
Like it's like this residual effect. Like if you hire happy people, there's going to be happy people in your business, in your client base, all of those type of things. And you can't just like force happiness.
No, you can't.
Force
it's an
attitude.
It is an attitude. It's how you're trained to think. It's the old joke about the two boys and the one kid gets all the presents and the other kid, a room opens up and it's a room full of horse crap. And, they come back and check on the one kid with all the kid with all the presents. He's like, they're like, why don't you play with them? And he's like, well, I'm afraid I'll break one and you'll be really angry. And he's crying, right? They go back to the kid with the room, all the horse crap. And he's just joyfully slinging this crap left and right. And they're like, why are you so happy? And he goes, well, all this horse crap, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. So, and that's
now I'm thinking we need to, the next time we hire people, Kyle, we got to put them in the boardroom. We have to crank up the heat. And then like at some point we come in with just like clippers, like hair clippers. And we're like, we know it must be hot. And just throw like clippers out, see who shaves their head to look like us first. We'll put like some fake beards on the table and we'll see
beards. Yeah.
I think you can do something with the fake beards. I don't know that you really want people willing to go
Shave
bald.
their head.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think that'll work. I don't think
know.
that'll work. But here's what I know. And when you think about an organization like ActivEngage that is grown and is larger, and you all just were at a SotuCon, and we early on presented this option, and it was in our our media kit, our sales deck, and all that type of stuff. But we said we wanted someone to partner with us from a hospitality perspective to like
Right.
greet people and be available and actually come to serve instead of just like be served by having sales output, right?
Right. Right.
And you all, like, it's hard to find 9, 10 people to
Yeah.
come that are like, I mean, to be fair, kind of paying to work. It's like, no, we're gonna throw down because we know that if we serve well,
Yeah.
people will look at us and go, wow, that's a different type of company to interact with.
Yeah.
How did that kind of come about? And then like the talks internally to get people ready for
Yeah.
serving at that level.
So when we saw what the packages that were being offered were offered, hospitality is just, I don't know, it's a core part of me. I have 2 daughters in the hospitality industry, and I have a son training to be a pilot. Well, I don't know if he'll put the shorts on, but so hospitality means something. It means something, and I think that's the whole thing. When you go through that Be Amazing or Go Home book, and we put everyone through it, but you got to be ready to stand on your business and mean it. And so when we started talking to Anne Marie, and I think it said 2 or 3 people to help, with registration or whatever, and I was like, I think we can do more. There's more to being hospitable. We all go to conferences and we understand, if you're really need to find the bathroom or whatever that situation is, there's just so much more you can do. And we want to be amazing in every single thing that we do as a company. So that, yes, that means the conversations with shoppers on the dealer's websites or Auto Trader or wherever that is. That means too, when I pass someone in the hallway or I see someone at a conference, you're going to be amazing. And so when we started the conversation with you guys, you were like, well, how many people can you bring? And I said, how many do you need? And so it was a couple of weeks that you came back, and I said, yeah. So, I have 2 people in sales. That's it, 2. So I tapped some people in customer care, marketing, strategic partnerships, and that's the team. And yes, we've been meeting. We met repeatedly to prepare ourselves to be that hospitality that'll make you guys proud, because I know you all put together such a professional, polished product in everything you do. We will not be the chink in that armor. And so that's the way we've approached it and trained and prepared for it.
That's so cool. Like that, like pulling that together, I think is it's a different way of looking at serving the industry. And I think when you pair that with like the question of what do we build next, right? What do we build for the dealer next? What do we build for the consumer next? You're
Yeah.
probably approaching it with a similar type of heart and mentality. It's not just like, oh, someone did this, we should do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you're asking the like right question initially. So I'd love to hear, like, how has that been productized? How has that been thought of in the business output of what you're doing right now? How is that transferring to the way you serve customers, the way you serve dealers?
Yeah, it's interesting. What we're hearing back from our sales and our partnership teams now is the industry, the dealer body has kind of they've been trained to believe that if you pay a company to handle your messaging, you need to watch those conversations and jump in and save them or take them over. And so us coming in and trying to explain, you don't need to do that with us. You're going to get better results with us. It's tough. It's a hill to climb. Even though we're the oldest in the industry, it's just not what anyone else does. The way that we train and do quality eval, and our goal is to get that shopper sticky with that dealer and get them into the dealership. Leads are easy. We don't care about leads. We care about the quality of that connection from the time they enter the site through to the dealership, so that the sales team in store, they have quality people to talk to. That person's going to answer your email. They're going to answer your phone call. I mean, it's hard to, as a sales manager, to get your team call these leads, and nobody answers, and nobody answers an email because that was just a form fill, or it was a not a good experience, and you've lost their trust and they've moved on, right? And so then, yes, we're working on additional products in terms of following up on leads already in the CRM, and we'll have all those products out the second half of the year. We also have flip to text, which is if the dealership phone line is busy, the consumer can change that to a text. So now they're getting that same human conversation right from the jump to, again, build that connection. It's tough when I know a lot of people say a lot of things, and all I can say is we really mean it. And that was part of why we wanted to be hospitality at ASOTUCon, is like, you can feel us, touch us, look us in the face, and like we're trying to back up what we're saying and be more visible in that way. So
I feel like, speaking of people saying a lot of things, I'm interested. This is my crack at a Kyle Mountseer segue. This is not a dealership thing. This is a human thing. I want to be clear about this because we are advocates. I know all of us are advocates for the dealer body here, but one thing we hear dealers say a lot is across the board, oh, the leads stink.
Right.
The leads are awful. And I think of the impact of that on whatever follows if the starting point is always the lead stinks, right? What does that do to morale? How they handle opportunities? How does it kill hospitality versus what you've just said? I love how you said we will not be the chink in your armor. And I know you were directing that at us, but I mean, Kyle kind of drew a throughput there. That's your sentiment. I can hear it.
Exactly right.
With your client partners.
Yeah.
Not being the chink in their armor, having quality eval, making sure the shopper experience is where it needs to be, and ensuring the quality of the connection.
Yeah.
What are you seeing as the impact now of a pre-vetted, higher quality opportunity on the dealer's ability to provide better hospitality?
So before we started this, I heard there was a dealer that signed on with us 2 weeks ago who really thought they wanted to do self-managed and handle the conversations themselves. And because of turnover, they had to change plans, right? And we're like, you know what, we'll do fully managed for you. Our team can handle the conversations. Let's just go ahead and launch. So, and it's a Volkswagen store. And in 2 weeks, we've set 8 appointments and they've sold all 8. So,
excuse me?
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, right.
Hold on.
Right.
I was like, and they all showed up and 3 of them bought. And I was like, that's going to be pretty good. I was going to be down for that. She goes, and they sold all 8.
Yeah.
Just not chill like
sold
that.
all 8.
Oh,
And this was a dealer who was just so determined that his team would do it, and he had a guy and it would be great, and da. And look, I came from the dealership. I appreciate everything a salesperson in a dealership needs to do, especially today. Are you kidding me? You've got
all the paperwork,
you've got hybrids, you've got tariffs. Are you like, it's all full blast. So to sit and watch someone else have a chat, or to try and do that yourself when the average volume for a dealer, it's going to be a lot of waiting for something to come in. If you're one dealer, that just doesn't make sense to me. It's not efficient. It's not economical, and the results are not going to be as good. So
what I love about it is this, Carol. I love that, too often I think in our industry, again, back to human nature, we make this a very like finger pointing type conversation. It's like, well, that must mean that dealer stinks. You know what I mean? It's always like that kind of thing. And what I love is I don't get that sense here at all.
Mm-mm.
In fact, what I'm hearing you say is like, hey, like there's so much nuance to why potentially an organization couldn't handle their leads, bandwidth, training, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You're saying, hey, we're not saying we sold all these 8 cars. What we're saying is we set them up at bat with the right pitch at the right speed, for their organization so that they could knock it out of the park. They still had to do their side of it, but we set them up in a way. And I think that's so important to distinguish.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm overcompensating, but I hear that way too much. It's like, look at the problem we solved for the dealer. It's like, nah, but the dealer
No.
still did so much work. And I love that I'm not getting that sense.
Yeah, no.
here
No,
from
we are their partner. That's it. We are not, they still have a lot to do.
I think I was listening to you earlier and I almost brought this up, but now it's like 8 people, eight sold, right? With this one particular dealer. Well, one, I'm still just like kind of reeling from that, but also you said something earlier and I can't remember exactly how you said it, but it was something like we are building the communication with the customer is building trust such that when they come to the store, when they interact with the store, and it's building trust from the store, that when that person comes in contact with someone at the store level, that they trust that it's a good connection, right?
That's right.
Like that's quality. That's a quality person on the other side.
That's right.
I'm guessing have you read Stephen Covey's Speed of Trust?
I have not.
Okay, you got to check out Stephen Covey's Speed of Trust, because I think it can be it'll just be a continuation. But when I think about like a person that has a great attitude, that approaches every single day with being amazing and understands that the speed of trust is a massive impact factor to every piece of a relationship. It's like employee to employee, employee to customer, customer to dealership back to ActivEngage, right?
Yeah.
That level of like the increase in speed of trust increases efficiency, increases throughput, increases conversation.
Yeah.
And you wrap all those. There's 3 books that people are going to have to read after this podcast. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah. We are, of course, our executive team. I've been here over 16 years. Our executive team's been here over 10 years. And I have over 80 years experience just in my training and quality team of their experience focused on these types of conversations. Mm-hmm. And then the culture is one where people are vocal. And if something's not right, like they're raising their hand, usually to me, and that's okay, because I will find the pony and they'll be like, this is not right. This didn't come across right. And I didn't get prepped. And I'm like, okay. And then we come together and we talk about it and we get it right, because ultimately we got to deliver. So, and it does require trust. It's like, when you're first married and you have that first argument and you're like, oh my God, he's going to leave me or whatever. And you just come to understand when you've been together so long, like no one's leaving. We're going to communicate and we're going to get through to the solution. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, we trust you and we're grateful that you trust us and that you're amazing hospitality partners. Carol, thank you so much for joining us on Auto Collabs today.
Thank you. Thanks both.
All right, here's my notes. The books, don't forget them. They'll be in the show notes. Hiring for Attitude, Be Amazing or Go Home.
Oh, love that.
And The Speed of Trust, Stephen Covey. Those 3 books, classic. I think if you pull those 3 books together, you will have the essence of hospitality, trust, bringing the right team together, making sure that they're constantly encouraged to do their best. And you might just build an organization that has the staying power of like an ActivEngage over time.
I often, in my kind of hiring spiel, I usually get to speak to potential hires at the end of the interview process, right? They've gone through several interviews and we've determined some things. And I always say the same shtick to them. Say, I look at hiring in two ways: qualifications and fit, right? Qualifications are you have the skills and the aptitude to do the job. Fit is you have the attitude and the aspiration to go in the direction that we're going to. And fit will derail a very qualified person faster than anything else. You could be the best at what you do. So I love the focus on hiring for attitude, because you can train skills. It's very, very difficult to train. I would say you can't actually train attitude. You can train some behaviors in there, but that doesn't mean you get the attitude right and it spills out.
I don't know why you're like, as I'm listening to you talk this through, I'm thinking about when you use the wrong size Phillips screwdriver and it just shreds the
thread.
screw to
Shreds it up,
bits.
yeah.
And it kind of makes me think of that. She brought up stuff like I wrote down words that she was saying. Like there's words that you can listen for that people say that kind of give you an indication of what kind of an employee they'll be, how they'll contribute or detract from the whole. One of them was the word never. People that use the word never common.
They're absolutionists. Yeah.
Yeah. And they tend to bring drama. And I'm like, huh. And I think how many times do we do that in our organizations where, you might like the person, but the like of the person actually gets in the way with what she's talking about and what you just brought up, Paul, where it's like, but it's not the right fit. We're just stripping away at a screw here that's never gonna like bring the whole thing together. So I thought
that's a great illustration because
What
then
an illustration.
once you
I feel
strip the screw out, right? Like then you have to bring in the big tools and you're really into it.
I
Now
feel
you're
like you got a
drilling it out.
LinkedIn carousel just like ready to be made
Oh,
right
yeah.
there, fam. Hey, we hope you enjoyed this conversation with Carol Marshall. I know we certainly did. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here on Auto Collabs. We will see you next time.
Go get your hat.
Welcome to Auto Collabs. Why are we recording?
Are we rolling yet?